Yeah, today agenda is first I will give a brief introduction about the Apache Apex. In this I will cover the what is Apex and what's the Apex architecture and what is an Apex application and how it is an Hadoop application. Next I will cover about the app templates, and then I will show about the AppFactory, and then I will move on to the live demo in which I will cover about the Kinesis to S3 app template. Now what is Apache Apex? Apache Apex is a runtime engine and big data platform which enables the development of scalable and fault-tolerant distributed applications. So the engine will take care of the scalable and fault tolerance. So user can concentrate only on the applications. Apex is a native Hadoop application. So it uses the HDFS and YARN of the components of Hadoop. So here there is no need of a separate service to run these applications. So the streaming engine built upon the application master and containers. Using Apex, we can process streaming or the batch data. Using Apex, we can create the applications with high throughput and low latency. So Apex have a library of commonly needed business logic, which is called the MapR library and which is an open source. Using Apex, you can write any business logic in your application easily. Now let's move on to the architecture. Here the bottom layer we have Hadoop 2.x. The minimum version needed is 2.6. On top of it, we have an Apex core, which is our engine, so which has the responsibility of fault tolerance and distributed applications, scalable applications. On top of it, we have an operator MapR library, which consists of input operators like Kafka, S3, JMS, and also have processing operators like transformation or parser. And also we have output operators like HDFS, S3, and Kafka, etc. Also, we have a batch supported operators. On top of it, we have an application templates. This I will show it today's webinar. And on top of it, we have some proprietary tools, our DataTorrent, like GUI application assembly, which can be used to build your application visually. And also we have a management and monitoring, which is used for launching and monitoring the application. And also we have a tool like real-time data visualization, which is used for data visualization of your applications. Now, what is Apex application? Here we represent the application as a DAG, directed as a click graph, which is composed of vertices and edges. Vertices we represent the operators, and the edges we represent as streams. A stream means is a sequence of data tuples. A tuple means is any serialized object. And these streams are connected between the operators, and those endpoints are called the ports. Here the operator can take one or more inputs, perform computations, and emits one or more output streams. Here each operator is a user's business logic or a built-in operator from our MapR library. And also operators may have more than one instance that can run in parallel. So this is a typically application example here. We categorized the operators into three parts. One is the input adapters, and The next one is generic operators, and the third one is the output adapters. And if you can see here, the green circles and the blue circles represents the ports. Green represents the output ports and the blue circles represents the input ports. Input adapter doesn't have any input ports. So it talks with the external system like Kafka or HDFS and get the data from that and emits through this output port to the next operators. Generic operators is like it receives the data through this input port and process it and emits through these output ports. Output adapters, here it will receive the data through the input ports and it writes to the external system like HDFS or Kafka or database MySQL. Now let's move on to how Apex is a native Hadoop application. Let's take a 4-node cluster, and once you launch the application, the cluster look like this. Here the green rectangles represents the containers, operator containers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are the operator containers, and one of the container occupies the STRAM, which is the streaming application master. The responsibilities of the STRAM is periodically monitors this operator containers, and if any operator goes down, it deploys into the different containers. And here if you can see, 1 and 2 are different nodes, and if you see here 3 and 5 operators are in the same node, and if you see here 4 and 6 are in the same container. So these are the castings of the containers. On top of it, we have an Apex CLI, which is a command line interface and which is an open source. We have two tools like DT Console and DT Gateway, which are the proprietary tools which is used to monitor and launch the applications. So here the YARN is used as a resource manager and HDFS is used for storing any persistent data. And if you see this picture, the pink rectangles represents the MapR jobs, which indicates that the applications can coexistence with your MapR jobs. Now, what is app templates? So, in mostly business use cases, we observe few repeatable patterns. So for these patterns, we created a templates like data synchronization or stacking data, which is just without any processing, just read the data from HDFS or write to S3 or HDFS. And enriching data is like in between parser, deduper, or enricher or formatter, or merge, transform, filter, or enricher, or some mission scoring and write to HDFS. So from where we available these app templates? So we have an AppFactory, which is a streaming analytic applications. So we categorize the applications based on the industry use cases or technology use cases. Like financial services, in this we have a fraud detection app, or healthcare, or IT applications. So this is the central repository for big data applications and solutions. So this is tested and published by DataTorrent. So you can easily accessible through the DT manage on DataTorrent RTS, or you can directly download the app from your website. Now, what are these advantages of these app templates? For example, if these app templates are not there, so you need to write the application and you need to run it and need to tune the parameters also before going into the production. Using these app templates, you quickly launch and import. If it doesn't satisfy your business logic, you can add your business logic in between and you can import into our app hub and you can launch the applications. During this, it reduces time to production drastically and also reduces the cost of operations in production. And also we have a real-time visualizations. So prepackaged with the app templates only, we prepackaged with the dashboards, which consists of the widgets like operator metrics such as throughput and latency. And also we are showing the app level metrics such as number of files processed or amount of data transferred, etc. So here we can look up the app templates and it's available at DataTorrent/Moray library, which is an open view and it is managed by the DataTorrent.
So before moving further, let's take some questions. So one question some user asked is Apex like Apache Storm? So the short answer is yes, it is similar to Apache Storm in a sense that both of them are stream processing platforms. But key differentiator with Apache Apex is we have considered operability as the first priority while designing our platform, and that is the reason why our customers have found that Apache Apex is more enterprise ready than the other competitive technologies available for the similar use cases. The other question asked by Dheeraj is for every generic operator, will the output file be different in the output directory, or all files will be merged before writing to output? So the answer is in two stages. The first thing is not every operator have to write its output to the file. So typically in streaming platform, whatever the output written by some operator will be passed on as it is to the next operator in the pipeline. So we call it as the downstream operator. So data is directly passed on to the downstream operator without writing to the disk. And this gives us, the optimization in the latency, because you are not hitting the disk directly from memory. You are transferring over the network to the next operator. The second point, which was in the original question, was about whether the output files will be in different output directory or they will be in the same output directory. So if you have more than one output operators or more than one instances of the same operator, so it could be like, let's say in your pipeline, if you are writing to HDFS, you could have HDFS output operator in your pipeline. And if you're writing too much of data to HDFS, the single instance of output operator might become the bottleneck. So you might choose to have, let's say, 4 instances of the same operator running on different parts of the data and writing data to HDFS. So in this case, each instance will be writing to different files and all files can be part of the same directory or different directory. It is, it can be configured by the end user. Okay, so that's all the questions we had till now. I will ask Chaitanya to move forward.
Now let's move on to the app template, Kinesis to S3. So the app looks like this, the top layer. Here we are using the AWS services like Kinesis and S3. So Kinesis is a message system which is distributed and which is of the AWS service, and S3 is a file system. So we'll consume here first. We'll consume the messages from Kinesis and we'll write it to S3. For more details, we can have a look up into the demo. Now let's move on to the demo. So this is our app factory. Here we have all the applications and solutions. We categorize those solutions based on the industry use cases. Here you can search the application here, or you can click on the list of applications. Here it will show the list of applications available in this app factory. Here also we can search the application. Now we are interested in Kinesis to S3. So let's start this Kinesis to S3. So these are the app templates that are available. Now let's pick up the latest version. So first we need to import this application. So I'm clicking the import. Which imports this application, and we can see here the application is imported. Once you click on this, it navigates to the application. Here we have the details of this application. Here, if you can see here, there is a launch button. If you click on this button, it will pop up the dialog box. Here, first one is the name of this application. It should be the unique across all the applications. So right now it's Kinesis to S3. I will making it as it is. And here we need to specify few properties, because for reading from Kinesis, we need to specify the access key and secret key, which is the credentials of the Amazon. So for demonstration purpose, I'll note down this properties. Now the first one is the S3 output bucket name. So I'm copying these properties. So, and S3 output directory path. So where we want to copy these files. I'm specifying the directory as user/app/user/output. And we need to specify access key for Kinesis input as well as for the S3 output. And we need to specify the endpoint for Kinesis input. So from where you want to read the data. And we need to specify the stream name for Kinesis input. So I'm making it as a transactions. So these are the required properties. And also we have optional properties. So here the down arrow, if you click on that, there you can see the add default properties. So it will show the default properties of this application. If you want, we can change these properties also. So here the default value of the S3 file is 128 MB. If you want, we can change it. So I'm specifying as a 5 MB. So to roll over the S3 file, the maximum size is 5 MB. After you specify all the properties, you can click on the launch. So this will launch the application, and here on the top right corner it will show the application ID has successfully launched. Once you click on that, it will navigate to the application. So now the application is in accepted state, and it got few containers for this application. Yeah, now the application is running. So if you see here in the top, we have few parameters about the application, like latency and process per second and emitted per second. Here, if you can see, the processor is 0 and emitted is 0 because I didn't push any data to Kinesis. That's why its processor is 0. And here it represents the logical DAG of this application. So the first one is Kinesis input. So it reads the data from Kinesis and emit those messages to the downstream operator. And the next operator is S3 output. It's a part of the module. It's a module, actually, S3 output module, which consists of two operators. One is the S3 compaction. So what it does is it compacts these messages into a file and it writes to the HDFS. Once the file is rollover, it emits the file metadata to the downstream operator. And here S3 reconciler is, it uploads that file into S3. This is our logical DAG. Now let's move on to the physical DAG view. Here, if you can see, it specifies with the partitions. So here the Kinesis input is 2 partitions because I created a stream with 2 shards. So that's why it's created 2 instances of Kinesis input. And here the S3 compaction and Kinesis input is partition parallel. That's why it's in a single pipeline. And then the engine will intermediately adds the unifiers, because here if you see, the upstream operator is 2 partitions and the downstream operator is single partition. So to unify these tuples, the engine will add the unifier operator. But you just concentrate on the logical DAG. Now what I will do is I will push some data to Kinesis. So for that I have written some application which pushes the data to Kinesis. So I change it to 1000. Now if you can see, it processing. And the directory as specified in S3 is com DataTorrent webinar k2 S3. So there is dummy bucket here. Now what I will show is, now we are with this app templates, we are packaging with pre-packaged dashboards. So I will show the dashboard of this. Here there is a visualize button. Once you click on that, it will show the application dashboards. Now let's click on the Kinesis to S3. So we are showing some few line charts like bytes read per second from Kinesis, events read per second from Kinesis, and bytes written per second to S3, events written per second to S3. And also we are showing few single value widgets, bytes read from Kinesis, total events read from Kinesis, and total bytes written to S3, and total events written. Here it is showing 0 because still the file is not rollable. That's why it's showing it as 0. I will show you that. Let's move on to the application. So here it will list all the applications. Now we are interested in Kinesis to S3. So if you see here, it is 0. Let's increase the limit. Once it reaches that 5 MB, it emits the file metadata to the downstream operator. Now what I will show you is fault tolerance. So the Kinesis input is deployed in 2 containers. One is 3 and 5. So I will kill one of the instance. If you can see here, it redeploys into the different containers 7. Now the app is running it. This is how the application is fault tolerance, and this is taken care by the Apex engine. And if you can see here, the compaction is emitted one tuple. That means it spill over to the next file. Now we can see here so the reconcile is processed the tuple. Now let's see this one into the S3 bucket. We specified the output directory as user, app user, and output. Now you can see the file. Now let's move on to the presentation. That's it from my side, and we have few resources which can look up the Apex and DataTorrent. These are the links. Yeah, that's it from my side.
So there is one question regarding the licensing. So one of the participants is asking, do I need to purchase any license from DataTorrent for this UI and process? So there are two parts to the answer. So one is, as you all know, Apache FX is totally free and open source technology. And as Chaitanya mentioned in one of the slide decks, DataTorrent has some proprietary layer on top of Apache FX. And we call it as DataTorrent RTS distribution, which is like DataTorrent real-time streaming engine. Okay, so the licensing for it is like we provide free licenses till the cluster size, that is the memory size usage, is up to 128 GB. And if your memory usage is going beyond that capacity, then you might need to purchase the enterprise license for the same. And the functionality of all these dashboards and monitoring and visualize and assembly user interface, everything is available in free license as well. So there is no difference in the features as such. Only restriction we have kept is for the memory usage for your cluster. I mean, not the entire cluster, whatever is the usage used by the application. Yeah, so the follow-up question is there any community license? So yeah, so the free license which we provide, you can say that it's sort of community license, and which is like having the usage limit of 128 GB. And you know, if you have you know, further questions, you can always reach out to us with feedback@datatorrent.com, and we can take it forward. And there are also programs available for startups where we provide free license for startup companies if you satisfy some conditions, and you can sign up for the Startup Accelerator program in that case. Yeah, so the other question was regarding where can we get the presentations. So presentations will be uploaded on SlideShare, and once they are uploaded, you will get an email notification from the meetup, as well as we will upload video recordings for the session on YouTube, and for that also you will get an email notification. And all our previous recordings from the previous sessions are already available on the YouTube channel in the name of DataTorrent, and same is the case for SlideShare presentations. And if you have any questions, you can write it to dt-user@googlegroups.com. And you know, if you have any questions around the open source component, we have Apache mailing list, that is users@apex.apache.org, and the Google group which I mentioned earlier is mainly for the proprietary offering by the DataTorrent. So yeah, Sashi is requesting to go back to the previous slide. Sashi, can you please type in with which slide exactly are you looking for? The resources one. No, the where we post all the links. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. So you can note down few addresses. One is the Google group which we use for you know, discussing the. It's like a user forum for the DT platform. And if you want to have some one-to-one communication, you can write to feedback@datatorrent.com. and Google group is with the name dt-users, and Apache group is with the name users@apex.apache.org. And yeah, you can always go back to slide shares, and in the previous slides as well, you will get links for all these resources. And within few days, we will also upload these slides where you will get the links for all these resources. So there is one question regarding does DataTorrent provide any trainings on the products and big data technologies? Well, the answer is, we provide trainings on Apache Apex and DataTorrent RTS, and we are not the training organization as such, so we don't provide training for other big data technologies. What we provide training for is mainly for our platform, which is Apache Apex and DataTorrent RTS. So we are sort of a big data platform company or big data apps company, and we are not the training organization. So training is not our main focus as such. Yeah, I will wait for 2 more minutes if there are any subsequent questions. Otherwise, we are done with the session. Thank you all for joining. Yeah, so one of the participants is asking for the contact number details. So Bala, you can email us to feedback@datatorrent.com, and we can take it forward. Well, the one question is, do you have any roadmap for other big data apps like Storm or Flink or Spark? So I'm not exactly clear with the question, but yeah, so on our roadmap, we have many different things. So things like, we are currently working on integrations with Elasticsearch and rules for rule processing and Druid for aggregating the data, and we are also trying to integrate with some of the machine learning technologies. So we don't want to reinvent the wheel. We will choose the best of the breed from the specific technologies, and we provide integrations with existing, the best technology for a particular use case. And yeah, so apart from that, we are currently working on the Python binding work and support for batch and stuff like that. So one more question is, what is the prerequisite to start? Well, so this is actually a very good question, I would say. So prerequisite, what we assume is, you must have some local Hadoop instance where you can try out your applications. Apart from that, we don't expect that all the developers would have sort of big data expertise or any prior knowledge about big data, and we are fine with it. And we have dealt with customers where none of their engineers had worked on big data apps in the past, and using DataTorrent platform, they were able to accelerate their work and complete their use case for big data using DataTorrent RTS. So good point to start would be, you can download the RTS and you can try out with the existing app templates those are provided. And if you face any issues, you can write to us. The next question is Apex part of Hortonworks HDP? So if you are asking about the distribution as such, so Hortonworks provides the Hadoop distro of their own. But if you are asking about the ODP platform, then yes, we are part of the ODP platform which Hortonworks has proposed. ODP stands for Open Data Platform, which combines many different open source technologies, and they have prepared some technology stack for big data applications, and Apache Apex is a part of that. Well, so one question is regarding the job openings. You can write to the email mentioned in the slide. Chaitanya, can you go back to the last slide which shows the openings? Okay, so you can write it to jobs@datatorrent.com for any further questions related to job role. Looks like there are no more questions, so thank you, goodbye, have a nice day or good night. Thank you.